Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode as we do those musical musings type of things. But more importantly, ranking the epics. We've done a couple episodes so far where we take a look at bands who have some long songs. And we take all the long songs of a certain length, like over a certain time length, and we rank them as we like them, right? Because we love ranking things here on the channel. So we've done The Doors. We did Yes last time around, and so I think that the qualification for The Doors were 7+ minutes. For Yes, it was 10+ minutes. We're going to go to Genesis today, and I've decided to do the cutoff at 8 minutes or more. Those are going to be our epics, because if I included 7 minutes, we'd have like 50 songs. So I figured we'll do 8. That gives us enough. It gives us exactly 20. So it worked out pretty well. So we've got 20 songs in the Genesis catalog that are over 8 minutes in length. I'm going to rank them as I like them. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. Feel free to rank them as you like them down in the comments below. And the good thing about this exercise is that we've got songs from all throughout their catalog and throughout their career. So it's not just the 70s stuff. This band actually did long songs all the way up to the end pretty much. So kind of cool, right? So I'm going to start with my number 20. It's the only one, it comes from an album, it's the only Genesis album that I don't own. I don't know why, I never bought it. I never really liked it enough. But the album is Calling All Stations. It's the last album they did in the studio, of course, with Tony Banks, Michael Rutherford, and Ray Wilson on vocals. The album is Calling All Stations. Like I said, the song is called One Man's Fool. It clocks in at 8 minutes and 58 seconds. It's actually not a bad song. It's fairly atmospheric. It's kind of proggy. There's some cool, like, rhythmic things going on. And Tony Banks is dropping in a lot of cool keys. And you got a little bit of riffy things happening from Mike. I think Ray's vocals are fine. I think it's a decent enough song. I don't think it's anything spectacular, but that's kind of my impression of that whole album. I think it's decent enough. It's not spectacular. That's my impression of this song. One Man's Fool. It's okay. But out of all the 8+ minute long epics they have, it's easily my least favorite. Over on to number 19. We're going to go to the We Can't Dance album. And I'm going to go with Fading Lights, which is the last song on the album. It clocks in at 10 minutes and 16 seconds. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I don't have a very high opinion of this album most of the time, but yet there are a handful of tracks that I really like on here. To me, there's stuff on here I don't really care for, and there's stuff I really like. Fading Lights is one of them. I think Fading Lights is a pretty damn good song. It's a good slow builder of a track. I think this song is highlighted by some tremendous keyboard textures and things from Tony Banks. I've always loved Tony and his vast array of sounds that he gets on all the Genesis albums. I think he's the star of the show on here. I think Phil is doing some pretty cool stuff on here on drums as well. I like it. Fading Lights, number 19 for me. Number 18, also from the same album of the same name, Driving the Last Spike. That comes in at 10 minutes and 10 seconds. A lot of similar things. It's maybe not quite as atmospheric as Fading Lights, but it still is. It's long, it's brooding. Mike's doing some pretty tremendous stuff on here. Again, Phil sounds great on it. Whether it's Phil's vocals or his drum work, I think Mr. Collins just really came into himself as an artist, especially starting in the 80s, but even into the 90s. And I think no doubt helped out by all the different things he was doing in his solo career. But yeah, Driving the Last Spike is kind of fun. It's kind of dramatic. I dig it. It's my number 18. Number 17, this actually originally I had it lower, but then I always go and re-listen to all these again, even though I've heard them a million times before I record. And I actually think this is a pretty terrific song. It clocks in at 8:53. It's from Invisible Touch. It's Tonight, Tonight, Tonight. And you know why? It's ranking higher than the three that I just put down here, because I think Phil Collins just is singing up a storm on us. This is an actual clinic of how great a vocalist he really is. And it's just got passion and power. And there's all these cool, weird noises and things going on. And like I said, there's just cool drum work. And Tony's doing some interesting keyboard textures all over it. But it's funny because I think in the back of my head, I was actually surprised when I went and did the research to find all the songs for this. I was like, no way. Tonight is almost 9 minutes long. For whatever reason, I just never thought it was longer than like a 4 or 5 minute long tune. It's actually not. There's some really cool stuff going on. So yeah, Tonight is my number 17. Number 16, I'm going to go to the Trick of the Tail album with Ripples. Ripples, maybe their first instance of them trying to do a kind of like pop song like this. I think they've done little quirky pop things before, certainly on Selling England by the Pound, but I think this is their first kind of stab at something like this. I think Ripples is a gorgeous song. You got some great Steve Hackett guitar work at the end of it too. It's a genius little song for them. And I always really dug it a lot. It's my number 16 from them. Number 15, I'm going to go back to Invisible Touch for Domino. Domino is pretty damn terrific. I think for me, Land of Confusion I like a lot. And obviously I just talked about Tonight. But man, Domino is really good. And again, it's, part one and part two, and there's kind of different feels in both parts. But I think it's another example of how you can really create tension and mood over the course of a lengthy track and do this whole slow build thing. And I think the ending is great, like the last 4 or 5 minutes of it. I mean, Phil is just killing it on the vocals. It's so catchy. It's just in the middle of this big Domino epic, there is a great little 3 to 4 minute long pop song. Really, really good. So cool. I love it. 10 minutes and 44 seconds, almost 11 minutes. The longest one on my list so far. Domino, number 15. All right. Number 14, I'm going to go with One for the Vine from Wind and Wuthering, which clocks in at 10:01. Yeah, One for the Vine is lovely. It's gorgeous. It's so dripping in melancholy and atmosphere, and I think this album is that for me. This to me is the perfect late fall, early winter album. It's just this warmthness about it and all the tracks, and I think One for the Vine is just amazing. Phil just completely coming into his own as a vocalist. You got lovely Hackett guitars and great keys and Rutherford, and the whole band just doing some amazing things on this song and on this whole album. So yeah, number 14, One for the Vine. Next up, I'm going to go to The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway for The Colony of Slippermen, 8 minutes and 13 seconds. A very oddball song. It's got all sorts of weird things happening on there to depict the weirdness that's going on during the song lyrically, right? And I think it works. I think it's a song for Tony Banks. Some amazing synthesizer work on this track. Gabriel's doing his thing. I really dig it a lot. It's not my favorite of the two epics from this album, but it's still really, really cool. The Colony of Slippermen. That's my number 13. My number 12 is going to be Duke's Travels from Duke. 8 minutes, 41 seconds. This basically forms a 1-2 punch at the end of the album with Duke's End. If you want to throw Duke's End here as well, then you've got, over 10 minutes long, right? But Duke's Travels is just amazing. Again, it's big. You got those kind of gated drum sounds from Phil and huge beds of soaring keyboards. I think, Phil's keyboard work on this album sounds different than almost any other Genesis album. There's something about the way this album is produced, and the keyboard sounds on this album very, very different, and I really like it a lot. I love the fact that they replay a lot of the musical themes from throughout the other songs on the album, and then that haunting vocal from Phil to finish it all off, just so good. Love Duke's Travels. Number 12 for me. Number 11. I Want to Drink. Stagnation from Trespass. Gorgeous song. 8 minutes, 51 seconds. For me, it's the second best song on the album. I mean, this is a very, very, very good album. Very underrated. To me, this is the album where it really finally clicked with Genesis. I shouldn't say finally, it's only the second album. But Stagnation has become a real underrated favorite for me in the catalog. And basically, there's wonderful keys happening from Banks, but for me, this is all about Gabriel. The majesty of Peter Gabriel as a vocalist is front and center on Stagnation. Just a killer song. Love it, love it. That's my number 11. My number 10, I'm going to go to Selling England by the Pound, 11 minutes, 6 seconds for The Cinema Show. Again, I mean, you have all the elements are there. Great understated drumming from Phil. Lovely guitar work from Hackett. Even more wonderful keyboard orchestrations from Tony Banks. And an amazingly tender vocal from Peter Gabriel. I mean, arguably, Cinema Show even better when they played it live. It's a great song. It's a great, great song. And again, one of those tracks that's like, sometimes when you relook at the time stamps of some of these songs and you're like, wow, that's really 11 minutes long? It's like, yeah, believe it or not. So yeah, that's my number 10. My number 9, In the Cage from The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. It's probably my favorite song on here. It's just so good. It's kind of heavy. It's dramatic. I love the way it builds at the beginning. Those keyboards are amazing. And Gabriel's vocals, in the cage. Oh, just so good. So good. Musical theater right there, ladies and gentlemen. So good. In the Cage, 8:14. Number 9. Number 8. We're going to go to The Battle of Epping Forest from Selling England by the Pound, 11 minutes, 49 seconds. Yeah, it's regal. It's majestic. So good. So good. And it's just so majestic and like epic sounding and so British and so Genesis. I mean, it's just by this album, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the 3 albums that come before this, but there's just something that's like, it's like they just grew up right here. You know, I mean, this album is class from start to finish. And the lyrics are just so oddly Genesis. And yeah, you can just picture yourself out on there in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the battle. It's so good. Number 8, Battle of Epping Forest. Number 7, Get 'Em Out by Friday, 8 minutes, 38 seconds. My number 7 from the wonderful Foxtrot album. Yeah, I've always loved the kind of the back and forth interplay on Get 'Em Out by Friday. It's like it's mellow, it's rocking. There's that great Hackett solo, and and Gabriel's vocals are just so good. It's like this yin and yang, back and forth, pulling forward, and I don't know, just so good. And again, another song I just God, it's almost 9 minutes long. Really? Is it? Yeah, it is. That's like that's the great thing about a band who knows how to write longer tracks. It's like when you don't even realize the length or girth of the song, and it goes by so quickly. That's a job well done. Get 'Em Out by Friday, number 7. Number 6, we're gonna go to The Knife from Trespass, 8 minutes, 56 seconds. Arguably the heaviest song they ever did. The last song on the album. The last thing we would hear from Anthony Phillips in Genesis. His big electric guitar, credenza. It's awesome. It's awesome. Totally love it as my voice is. Just little by little leaving, so I'll try to talk a little bit lower here. All right. Number 5. Fifth from Selling England by the Pound. 9 minutes, 38 seconds. Great vocal from Gabriel, but man, it's got one of the most legendary guitar solos of all time, and certainly Steve Hackett's iconic guitar solo. It's got amazing solos from Mr. Tony Banks. It's just a brilliant, brilliant song. So melodic, so majestic. Firth the Fifth is number 5. I'm going to hold this out because then we're going to go number 4 at 8 minutes and 5 seconds. Dancing with the Moonlit Night. Can you tell me where my country lies? Right? So good. Oh, and the big mellotron swells during it, and the great guitar work, and the chorus. I get chills just thinking of it. It's just such a great song, as are so many of these. That's my number 4, Dancing with the Moonlit Night. Number 3, We're going to go to Nursery Crime for the return of the giant hogweed. So dramatic, so bombastic, so utterly ridiculous, but so amazingly Genesis. Love it. And it's such a great album. It's such a great epic. All about the damn hogweed that you can never get rid of, that invasive plant species that will take over the earth if you let it, right? Awesome stuff. Hackett's amazing on it. Banks is amazing on it. They all are, actually. So good. That's my number 3. My number 2, in most worlds, would be number 1, except for my number 1, but I'm going to go with the musical box, also from Nursery Crime. Genius song. Man, the 12-string guitars and like the gorgeous, folky, pastoral mellotrons, and then the big heavy section and the great Hackett guitar work, the bass, and from Rutherford. So good. I was listening to this driving around the car yesterday, singing all the lyrics to it, and I'm like, it's just so good. And the way Gabriel just delivers it, it's amazing. It's amazing. The musical box at 10 minutes and 32 seconds. That's right. Number 2. And my number 1, there can only be one. Supper's Ready from Foxtrot. 22:54. Let's take a bunch of shorter pieces, put them together to tell a whole story, and do it so well. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Supper's Ready has it all. It's whimsical, it's dramatic, it's atmospheric, it's heavy, it's quirky. It's all those things. Everybody shines. The entire band just absolutely shines on this one. I mean, Collins' drums are just incredible, right? You know, get some great Hackett guitar lines and loads of keyboards, and Rutherford with the bass and the 12-string, and then, of course, Mr. Gabriel telling the whole story, playing lots of different characters. Just so good. Absolutely so good. That's my number 1. Supper's Ready from Foxtrot. I'll repeat the list for you here, and I'll even include it down in the comments below. But we got number 1, Supper's Ready. Number 2, The Musical Box. Number 3, The Return of the Giant Hogweed. Number 4, Dancing with the Moonlit Night. Number 5, Firth the Fifth. Number 6, The Knife. Number 7, Get 'Em Out by Friday. Number 8, The Battle of Epping Forest. Number 9, In the Cage. Number 10, The Cinema Show. Number 11, Stagnation. Number 12, Duke's Travels. Number 13, The Colony of Slippermen. Number 14, One for the Vine. 15, Domino. 16, Ripples. 17, Tonight, Tonight, Tonight. 18, Driving the Last Spike. 19, Fading Lights. And 20, One Man's Fool. There is my list. The 20 songs in the Genesis catalog, 8 minutes or more. That's how I'm ranking them. Rank them as you like them down below. For all of you saying, well, where's this song? Where's that song? Well, they're not long enough, right? If we wanted to include every single Genesis classic, whether it's 5, 6, or 7 minutes long, we'd be here all day. So we limit it to 8 minutes and up. 20 tracks. That's a good list. So rank them as you like them down in the comments below, and visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options, all available down below. Thanks for all your support. It's always greatly appreciated. And we'll see you soon here with more of these Ranking the Epic shows. I think I got Jethro Tull coming up next, if I'm not mistaken. I got bands like ELP and Rush and King Crimson and Dream Theater and all sorts of other bands that did longer songs. They'll all be coming up in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned for more of these. And until next time, I am Pete Pardo. Happy Friday, everybody. And we'll see you soon. Enjoy your weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.